Welcome to Biz Wire. I'm Joseph Nordstrom in Beijing. Amid the headlines and gray pictures coming out of China, there lies the silver lining of huge business opportunities for green products and services. As its people choke on toxic smog, China's government has finally acknowledged the severity of the problem and says it will spend nearly $500 billion to deal with it. Shortly after taking office last March, Premier Li Keqiang said that China should no longer sacrifice the environment to pursue economic growth. This change in priority should be a boon to green companies from China and abroad. China is taking a number of measures to cut energy use per unit of GDP by its stated goal of 16% by 2015 from 2011 levels. China's National Energy Administration says the country's on-grid solar power capacity is currently about 10 gigawatts, a 200% jump from that seen a year ago. Coal use is still growing in China, but its share in the electricity mix is in decline. Power generated from coal is expected to drop to 69.6% this year from 71.5% at the end of 2012. According to the state-run Global Times, sources such as hydropower, on-grid wind power, and nuclear power are expected to stand at 22.5%, 6.1%, and 1.2% respectively. On Monday, China's second-largest solar panel maker, Trina, said they will build a 1-gigawatt solar power plant in Xinjiang in northwest China. Bloomberg News reports that 1 gigawatt of capacity is about the same as a new nuclear reactor. The project will be built in phases over 4 years, starting in early 2014. The company expects the first 2 phases, totaling 300 megawatts in capacity, to be completed and connected to the grid by the end of next year. According to Reuters, China is trying to retrofit its coal-fired power plants to reduce nitrogen oxide pollutants. Analysts say this will cost around $11 billion over a 5-year period. This could give a boost to U.S. companies like environmental engineering company LP Amina, whose technology Chinese power plants have been buying, which doubled sales this past year. President of the U.S.-China Clean Tech Center, Feng An, says 5 years ago people could pollute in China and get away with it. Now Feng says polluters are being held more accountable, and this year will show a big difference. Even more optimistic figures come from the U.S. Department of Commerce, which forecasts China's appetite for clean technology will triple to $555 billion by 2020. Besides spending on solar and wind power, the country is investing in sustainable building materials and aims for 30% of new construction by 2020 to be green. The government also recently said it would stop approving coal-fired power plants in heavily polluted industrial areas. Officials also announced a national goal of lowering the concentration of harmful particles in the air by at least 10% between 2012 and 2017 levels. China has strong environmental protection laws already in place, but the problem has come from lax enforcement. Previously, officials in the provinces were judged for promotion mostly based on economic growth, which gave them the incentive to push industries to produce and thus pollute as much as they could. Last month, Beijing changed the incentive structure to account for this by now including environmental measures in their assessments of how local officials are doing their job. What was once a very large disconnect between Beijing and localities further away will hopefully be reconciled so China can grow in a more sustainable, healthier way. You're watching Biz Wire on the Blue Ocean Network, China's first and only privately owned English-language broadcast media. Our full episode can be seen on our website, BONTV/biz-wire. In just a moment, we'll continue with more insight into the big picture of China's economy.